Yes. It'll be good to get some rest before I return back to my work.
What? You can't be serious, Florence. You've just returned from the Crimean War. You've saved lives. You've made your point. Now it's time for you to come home and settle down.
Look, I didn't go to the Crimea to prove a point, Mother. I went to help the sick and wounded. I pray to God that we'll never have to face the terror of war again. But if a war broke out tomorrow, I'd be on the next ship out. I'm willing to go where I'm needed the most.
Florence, if you're not going to stay, can I have your room?
Parthay.
My room smells like Grandma.
Come along.
I'll be right along soon, Mother. First I have some goodbyes to say.
Very well.
Florence, I'm very proud of you, and your nation is indebted to you. So many of its soldiers are saved thanks to you and your nurses. You know, a fellow by the name of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow even wrote a poem about you.
About me? Why didn't he write it about the soldiers? They're the ones who gave their lives.
That's the humble spirit I love so much. Florence, tell me, what will your next endeavor be?
If I wanted to start a school for nurses who are serious about becoming nurses, would you back me? It would be a school where they can learn to work alongside doctors and study medicine. The nurses that graduate from my school will not be from the bottom of the barrel, but highly trained, highly educated nurses. If they are not fully prepared, they will not graduate.
I'm behind you, Florence. But you must know, you're asking for trouble. Many professional men take a dim view of women anywhere else but in the home. But I'm behind you.
Thank you, Pastor. I'm going to miss you. You've always been an encouragement to me.
You've been an encouragement to me as well, Florence. I'm going to miss you. Oh, it seems you have more goodbyes to say.
I'm afraid this is going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done. I've grown to love these nurses.
I'll leave you to it then.
It was a pleasure working with you ladies. You rose to the occasion and really stepped up for these men.
It was our privilege to serve under you.
We just came to see you off.
So will you be returning to the hospitals then?
Of course. We have to make sure the nurses who were covering our shifts weren't negligent in their duties.
We have to make sure they're changing the sheets daily.
And that they're making sure the patient's bandages are clean, that they're being bathed, and that they're also given the proper medication.
And they have plenty of food and water. And that they have someone to talk to when they're lonely.
Thank you.
For what, Florence?
Just thank you.
So, another chapter of my life was finished. Not forgotten. Late at night, I could still hear the screams and cries of our dying soldiers echoing in my mind. I would never be the same again. Over the next several years, I searched for a place to start a nursing school. St. Thomas Hospital in London seemed to be an excellent choice, and most were in favor of it. But some still needed a little convincing.
Good news! The board gave us everything we asked for in the budget. I'm expecting to see lots of growth and progress very soon.
Glad to hear it. Everyone around is going to respect St. Thomas as the finest hospital in all of London.
Take a look at this letter. Someone on the board must be playing a joke on us.
Dear supervisors of St. Thomas, we have received a visit and a request from a well-respected nurse named Miss Florence Nightingale, requesting that we host a nursing school in our facility. This school has been a vision of Miss Nightingale's for quite some time and is even several years in the making. As you may recall, Miss Nightingale's name began circulating in the medical world during the Crimean War, when she led a team of nurses into the front lines of battle. Her assistance was nothing short of a blessing to the doctors and soldiers there. Miss Nightingale believes that if women are to be trained properly, they will prove to be an asset and will be able to work alongside doctors, serving them and their patients.
Keep going.
Oh. Miss Nightingale will arrive by train this day. Please show her around St. Thomas and make her feel at home. We have given her the approval to begin making preparation for her classes. We currently have 15 young women interested in enrollment.
Who do you think is behind this?
Probably the guys in the maternity ward.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Could one of you direct me to the hospital supervisors?
That would be us.
How may we help you?
My name is Florence Nightingale. I'm here to start a school for nurses.
Alright, who put you up to this? Wait a second. I recognize you. You work in the kitchen, right?
A school for nurses? We must be desperate for practical jokes around here.
Excuse me?
Certainly you're not serious.
I most certainly am serious. I visited this hospital previously and was told that you gentlemen would help me.
Miss Nightingale, I've read many of your medical articles. You put a lot of good work into them, and I admire your work in the Crimea, but I just don't see doctors willing to accept women into the medical field to assist them. That's just something that will never going to happen.
Then open your eyes. The need for good nurses is huge. We haven't even graduated our first class and we're already getting requests from our hospitals for our nurses.
How do you expect the school to be funded?
I'll pay for room and board out of my own pocket.
That's a very large expense, Miss Nightingale.
No, it isn't. Not when you consider the overwhelming amount of good that it'll do for everyone. I believe in this with my whole heart. We can make a difference.
Miss Nightingale, please let me be one of the first to welcome you to the St. Thomas Hospital.
I don't think the world is ready to have women working alongside doctors. But if you're truly believing in this, then I'll gladly host your medical school for nurses. Please, join us on a tour of the finest hospital in all of London. This way.
Despite what any doctors or supervisors thought of our nursing program, it was an immediate success. On July 9, 1860, the Nightingale Training School opened. By the end of our first year, our first class of nurses graduated. And a year later, the Civil War broke out, and the need for nurses was greater than ever. But in time, my health began to fail, and I became less active than I was accustomed to being. But I continued to write my medical articles and make sure my nursing school continued to flourish.
Miss Nightingale,
Yes?
it's Sarah from the school.
Is everything all right, Sarah?
Of course, Miss Nightingale. Everything's just fine. Me and a couple of the other nurses heard you weren't feeling so well, so we decided to stop by. Everyone else is right outside.
Thank you, Sarah. I should be getting back to the patients.
No, Miss Nightingale, it's done. Your nurses are doing a fine job. You'd be proud.
Something for a certain task I am not to do.
Miss Nightingale, please try to rest.
And pass my lamp of light on to you.
I solemnly pledge myself before God and in the presence of this assembly to pass my life in purity and to practice my profession faithfully. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous and will not take or knowingly administer any harmful drug. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession and will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping and all family affairs coming to my knowledge in the practice of my calling. With loyalty, I will aid the physician in his work, and as a minister of health, I will dedicate myself to devoted service to human welfare.
Some people make millions of dollars in their lifetime. Some travel the world, get married, have a family. I did none of these things, but I can't imagine a better way to have lived my life. My only regret is that I didn't reach more people.
Let us feel everything they feel. Let us be in the place where they are. Let us love with the love that's real. Let us reach them near and far. There are people to feed who cry out and bleed and bow their heads, because no tears are shed for some who die. Everywhere that you go, there's a lot of woe, and if you dare, you can show the world you care for those who cry. One is all it takes. You can change the world with all you can do. One is all it takes. All it takes is only one, and it could be you. Maybe you'll be the one who will run to help the human race, make the world a better place. What will you do? Everywhere that you go, there's a lot of woe, and if you dare, you can show the world you care. It's up to you. One is all it takes. You can change the world with all you can do. One is all it takes. All it takes is only one. Now it's up to you. All it takes is only one. Now it's up to you.
Thank you everyone so much for joining us for our opening night presentation of The Spirit of San Jacinto and the Florence Nightingale story. We will be here tomorrow night and Saturday night at 7 o'clock. There's still tickets left, so if you enjoyed the show and you know anyone else who might enjoy it, please help us to spread the word. If you got some good pictures or anything, post them all over social media, get some people out here. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Have a great evening, everyone, and good night.